Hi and hello, beautiful people. It's great to have you here and welcome to the channel. For those that are coming across this channel for the first time, welcome as well. So, in this short video, I want us to talk about governance, and let's talk about leadership and what leadership means to a people, to a country, and we can talk about so many things. As you know, the problem with Africa is this, that, and the other. But one of the main problems that is bedeviling Africa is bad governance and bad leadership. And if we as Africans and young people of this continent don't wake up to this reality early enough, then we will never be free from these shackles. Let's watch this short video and do an analysis of it. So here's the video.
The most dangerous people to be with are powerful people without principles. There are politicians who got power but no principles. You know, I prefer to have someone with principles and no power than to have them with power and no principles. Why? Because they use the power to kill you. There are people on your job who have position and they got power, connections, but they ain't got no principles. So they will eat you alive. They will fire you. They'll destroy you. They'll do all kinds of undercurrent work to undercut you. When you finish, you're out of a job. And they laugh at you on your way out. No principles.
You know, this is typically what is happening in Africa. Most African states, we have ignorant but power yielding goons in the place of leaders in our spaces of leadership. And that's really dangerous. And that's happening from the highest levels of governance to even lower levels of, there is nothing dangerous to a society like a powerful fool. Forgive me for those words. But when an ignorant person wields a lot of power, then that becomes dangerous. But when a wise person is in charge of power, then that power becomes a resource for that particular people or community to become productive. Recently, we were talking with a friend of mine, and he and his colleagues were complaining about this certain character who is a top ranking leader in their organization, in his workplace, that is not giving them peace. He keeps telling them, hurling insults at them, and he's abusive. And he asks them to go, take him wherever they can, because he knows that he's well connected. Apparently, he is the brother, a younger brother, apparently, to a very, very senior politician. And so he knows that he thinks that he's out of reach, and you guys can't tell him anything. You guys can't take him anywhere. So he tells me he terrorizes everybody in the workplace. He asks them to do whatever they think they can do to him, and that is typically, what we mean by when an ignorant person, when a fool wields power, it becomes very dangerous, you know. And it's time. I'm doing this video purposely because I think it's time to call out bad governance and poor leadership in Africa. And nobody else is going to do this other than the young people of this continent. Of course, with the assistance of those people of older generations that have seen the light, with their wisdom and experience, the young people of Africa must now wake up and call out and chase bad leaders, oust puppets of the West, and institute and form governments that are here for the people of Africa, that are here for the black person, and that are not here because they are greedy and for their corrupt means, and because they are going to what happens in Africa, nepotism and tribalism and clanism, where when I get to power, the first thing that I think is I try to hoard as much as I can for myself, and I get all of my relatives and everybody in my family a position in the government, in my workplace, and it doesn't matter, not on the basis of merit and qualification. Actually, the qualification becomes the person you know and how you relate to that person. Time for that is long overdue. And what is long overdue as well is a time that the young people of Africa should have woken up, called out bad governance, and asked, demanded for a proper Africa. Because there are so many problems, so many disadvantages that Africa is suffering from because of poor governance, mismanagement of resources, increased risk of conflict everywhere, poor decision making. I mean, ineffective governance in itself, neglect of critical issues is another problem. We have leaders that are just out there to loot, embezzle, and just fill their tummies selfishly. And we have leaders who are there because they have been put there by maybe Western powers with their own ulterior motives. There is no more time for that in Africa. Young people of Africa, I call on you, from north to south, from the east to the west. The time is nay. I'm going to share a video here from my own country of Kenya, because Kenya in the recent weeks has been going through um, an economic revolution where the young people have stood against the old people in power, corrupt a government and government officials, and are calling them to quit offices and give chance to competent, young, willing Kenyans. This video that I'm going to share is one that I'm really sure maybe you have come across this video in a various social media platforms, but I'm deliberately going to share this video with you because this is one very passionate individual that has come out as the face, a very good representation of the young generation, what they want, the boldness and the clarity that is required of us, not only in Kenya, but in the entire of Africa. And I think this is the way to go for young African leaders. This boy that I'm going to share is a leader, I believe a leader in the making. Let's watch this video together and listen to him keenly and critically, and then we can have a conclusion. So here is the video.
In the name of youth, peace and unity, I offer you my most revolutionary greetings. Comrades Power, Comrades Ria, Comrades Achu, Comrade Ziggy Zaga. It is very important for us to continue to mobilize each other and to occupy Parliament. I say this because, think about it, even during the inauguration of the People's President, the citizens of Kenya never made it to State House in a march because they knew it's a protected area. But in a bold move, united, last week we managed to march to Gate A. That should tell you something. In protected areas, they shoot on sight, but none of that happened to us. Just to remind you that great things happen when we come together. I say this not as a person who's immune from any of the state machinations. I was threatened on Wednesday night last week at midnight by 4 armed officers. My friend Dr. Austin was harassed yesterday. Billy was kidnapped. You've seen Shadi being kidnapped, and you've seen the looks on the faces of everybody who's been kidnapped by the police. And we will tell the state that we will remember, but you will not break our spirits. If you hear the stories of these people, because it is not in my place to tell, I hope that with good time, Japrado will come and give us the ordeal. But from what he told me yesterday, they're out to finish us, both physically and emotionally. That's why you must keep your guard up. It is not your fellow youth that are the problem. I feel like the movement is being distracted by people trying to bash these young people who are trying to form political parties. That's the whole point of a robust democracy. If they want to form a political party, if you disagree with them, you just do not vote them in. But just put yourself in their shoes. What would you have done at 19 or 20 if you got the attention of the whole country and people asking you the question, so who's the leader? What's the next steps? You would probably do the same thing. So it is not in our place to insult them because they're not the enemy. They're together, boots on the ground. And it would be very bad for us to demoralize them. While this is a peaceful, leaderless legion that even I cannot claim to lead because I'm a mouthpiece where I just speak during the protests. I'm no more important than the person who's dishing out water on the corner, the person who's warning us where the cops are, the person who's helping us apply toothpaste under people's eyes. We are all equal. So while this is not the time, and that would be a better thing to do, maybe just advise them, because all they need is just a bit of advice, because these are our younger siblings. It is not good for us to try and ruin morale. Remember the tone of the government last week. They were calling us cool kids. They were trying to divide us according to lines of class. They were trying to call us directionless and useless people. Within 2 days, with pressing and increasing the pressure, we have managed to suddenly become our children. We've become a revolutionary group of people, a robust democracy who are fostering conversation. We continue to press together because great things happen when we are united. And remember, a people united can never be defeated. We also take this chance to ask the government to stop its kidnappings, to release Shadi. Now we will continue to press until the man is produced. We will not bow to your tactics. We are no longer afraid. I am no longer afraid, and I know that my fellow youth in this country are no longer afraid. If you cannot make it to be boots on ground, share these videos. Warn us when you see suspicious activity. Help us. I know a lot of people asking me what's my number so I can send me money. I'm not receiving any money for now. What I'm buying for people, I'm using for my personal funds because I still can afford it. But I've realized that I need to do certain things, like tint this car particularly, because today in the morning I was harassed by cops when I was going for my interview at HPR. Those kinds of things, I still can do them privately. But it is important that you do civic education, educate your mom and bogus, the people who are around you, and remember that we will continue to occupy. This is just to encourage you that seeing what has happened in the past 2 weeks, the government, you remember, empires crumble nowadays not due to invasion, as Dr. Mordecai Ogata said, but due to the weight of their own indolence and stupidity. That is what this empire is facing. And we will make it. We will make it, guys. Do not lose the hope. Do not lose faith, no matter how hard they try to get us. I know that I've got you and you've got me, and we will do this together. Viva, comrades, viva. Viva, comrades, viva. Viva, comrades, viva.
So the only reason why I'm sharing this video is because I think this video can act as an inspiration, and maybe this video might motivate someone to check out what is happening, what has been happening in Kenya recently. Any other young African leaders out there, any other young people in Africa out there, there is no more time to waste. There is no more time to go back to slumber. The time is now, and we have to press for liberation across the entire continent. It's time to ask those corrupt African leaders to leave office for young people. And it's time to ask corrupt leaders to leave those offices and go straight to jail. It's time to hold them accountable. It's time to build Africa. It's time for Africa to rise, you know. So it's not just about his eloquence and how he articulates, but it is actually, it goes down to what young people believe in, what young people are fighting for. It's not just about speaking, it's about walking the talk, you know, and that is what we demand in Africa. There is nothing that there is no worse thing a country that can have than poor governance and bad leadership. Africa deserves good governance. And Africa has all it takes. It has people, intelligent people, people of high moral standards that can become the best leaders, that can uplift Africa, that can make Africa very, great. But we have to fight for our liberation. We have to give them a chance. We have to fight for a chance to give them, to prove their worth, you know. And so I just think that this what is happening in Kenya now has just set precedents, has set the stage, has just you know should have a ripple effect, a chain of reaction across the whole continent, for all the people of Africa to wake up and hold their leaders accountable. In fact, send incompetent, corrupt leaders home, not home, but to rot in jail. Those that embezzled our uh, property, our funds, should be held accountable, and we recover all that we can. Because Africa is not poor. People in Africa might be poor, but Africa in itself is very rich, is the richest. So the time is now. Young people of Africa, it's time to wake up and to take your positions. I'll want to end this video at this particular point. Please do share your opinions, your views on this, and like this video, share this video across all your platforms. And most importantly, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please support us by subscribing to the channel. Until next time, see you in the next video. Bye bye.